Okay, so it's just absolutely incredible that we can find in recent history a powerful nation that begins to search for a mythological, supposedly, race of superior supermen and women that are from some sort of earlier destruction or judgment or cataclysm that had to flee, that went into the inner earth. Incredible. And then, of course, the legends that record it would be connected back to Atlantis. Now, Atlantis is going to connect back to the Garden of Eden and the description of the Garden of Eden. Now, I know some of you just jumped in your seat, and you should. But remember, Atlantis was considered to be concentric circles. And I tell you, there is much connection with these legends. Now, Atlantis is also confused with other locations, and there are many admixtures of multiple legends that fulfill themselves as Atlantis and how people study and present that information to you. So there are multiple locations that people are saying are Atlantis that are not Atlantis. What we're talking about is the legend of Atlantis, the earliest oral retaining messages that are being given to us from the past concerning Atlantis. And it directly lines up with one of the Garden of Edens. Now, that's right, I said one of the Garden of Edens. Now, you can find that in your own Hebrew Bible, that Adam and Eve were expelled from the first garden that was prepared for them. And then they go to a second garden of which they had to till the ground themselves. So in that instance, there are two garden locations. Okay? So as I've told you, there are multiple locations in its legendary status for the remnant of Atlantis. But what you have to understand is that there was a reason why they were expelled from the garden. Somebody took this location over. The key to understanding of this is the entrance of the serpent into the garden narrative. And of course, the soon-to-come legend of the sons of God in Genesis 6, where they begin to procreate with the men and the women of that time. Now, you'll see that with the men also, because the book of Enoch records this, that there was much going on, not only just between the takings of the daughters of men. So incredible, my friends. All of this begins to connect in a solid line of sight, both biblically, scientifically, and even this connection that we have here to the Vril Society, if you give it the time and check it out. Now, what I'm trying to tell you here is that the offspring of the sons of God with the daughters of men in Genesis 6, it resulted in what is called these demigods, these mighty men, these men of old, these men of renown. Okay, now the actual sons of God of Genesis 6, who were of this heavenly estate, who were given physical form again, these aren't the same beings that are in the inner earth. Okay, their spirits, these fallen sons of God, the actual ones, have been maintained. Those are the ones where you see that have been maintained in those sure chains of darkness. What we're talking about is an actual physical being and a physical person is their Nephilim children. Okay, their offspring. Their offspring are the ones that have returned with this knowledge and this advanced technology into the inner earth after they have been evicted from Mars and the moon. But of course, they have reestablished these places in these coming times as technology has increased for both us and them. So they have been preparing for something, and they have been handicapped and limited by time-space, just as you and I are. So who is in the inner earth? Well, it's the offspring. It's these remnants of the genetics of these demigods that are left over from the residual mingling of the sons of God with the daughters of men in Genesis 6. And they are prepared to come upon the world again with the very same deception. I'll be back.